I am excited to talk to you today about the Vikings and Bears and that odd, fun game.
Someone referred to it as the Temu Sunday Night Football comeback, and I was like,
Yes.
There's a very famous
extra tall.
picture historically that I was shown in college, and it like really resonated with me. And every time I get to teach about this, I always do. So there's a very famous picture from like, oh God, like not long enough ago. It was like 40, 50 years. And there's a black police officer. And then there's a little kid in like freaking KKK robes and has like a hand amongst the shield. And it's like, oh man, like they're taught racism. It's a whole thing. That's basically like forcing your kid to be a Cleveland Browns fan or a Chicago Bears fan at this point, because you know what you're doing now. If you have a newborn child and you're like, I'm going to put them in the Chicago Bears fan base, it's basically child abuse. Because every single year, it's different now. Now you have the Pope on your side. Now you got God on your side. And Monday night still happens.
That Monday Night Football game.
Let's talk about that.
I was watching, and Caleb Williams, Bears offense, first quarter, looked great. Caleb was efficient. He starts 10-10 passing. You're like, look, I'm worried in my head at that point where I'm like, the last few months, all I've said is, I love Ben Johnson. I think it's going to work. I just think it's going to take some time. I think Caleb's got to learn a whole new thing. He's got to forget everything the last coaching staff tried to teach him. And then they come out and like, fuck, maybe Ben Johnson and Caleb, they're going to be clicking right away.
Figured it out.
Luckily, after one good quarter, 1.5 good quarters, the Bears offense starts to slow down. Caleb starts just missing passes. Doesn't look great. It's a tough defense, okay? Brian Flores, tough defense. JJ McCarthy, 3 quarters, looked like dog shit.
Awful.
And it wasn't that, it wasn't so much that he just looked bad. It looked like Kevin O'Connell didn't trust him.
Sure.
He was 1-2 passing through a good chunk. They gave him two options to pass, but the Bears defense looked relentless. I was like, Dennis Allen's got these guys ready to go. Even Peyton Manning was like, this defense is confusing me. I thought this was zone, turns out to be man, or vice versa. He's like, I feel bad for JJ McCarthy. Like, that's a tough thing to digest. And if Manning's saying that, okay. And then the fourth quarter happened, and JJ just flipped a switch.
There's still time.
He started dicing up the Bears. We got reports of him in the huddle in the third quarter, looking at all the guys saying, where would you guys rather be than here right now?
All that Harbaugh magic.
Yeah, dude, he is a Harbaugh clone.
1 gajillion%.
He's like, when I put on the face paint, I turn into a warrior. This is warrior paint. A whole bunch of shit. If he doesn't win, we're trolling him relentlessly today. But he went in there. He got a win.
Dude, fourth quarter, JJ McCarthy looked like a different quarterback.
Yeah, it was a boring game for a big chunk, but it was exciting at the end. And now, okay, as a Packers fan, which quarterback do you think this season finishes statistically better? Because I know Caleb looked bad. There's some things there I'm very concerned about. Sure. But if it's going to click, it's going to click with Ben Johnson, because within all that bad stuff, you still get a play or two where Caleb does something crazy. He escapes some pressure. Like that throw to Dunze on the side. Like, he has some nice moments, but he's got more moments that send off alarm bells in my head. Who are you more worried about? I guess I would say.
It's a great question. And sport, listen, it's week 1. We can't crown any champs, right? And even when we're talking about panicking, it's like, these are the teams that we're concerned about going forward, right? Because it is just week 1. The team could look completely different next week.
It's a hard week.
Maybe sport. But for me, I think I'm worried overall more about the Vikings because of the rest of their roster. And I believe in KOC more than I believe in Ben Johnson, just as a head coach, just because KOC is a proven head coach. And I think especially when you have guys like Jordan Addison come back, right, it's going to give more opportunities for JJ. So I think JJ might have a cleaner season, but I wouldn't be surprised if Caleb has like more yards. I wouldn't, you know what I mean? Sure. Like I feel like it might be like less interceptions maybe for JJ, or maybe he's just a little bit more efficient. When you were watching JJ McCarthy, it looked like it was his first NFL start. Like, that's what it looked like. Of like, okay, yeah, the things are going very, very fast for him. They're not trusting him a whole lot. I know they were running on some third downs and long. They were just kind of giving up on the play. Even when there was 11 seconds left in the half, right? And instead of like trying to get a little bit closer for their field goal unit, they were like, you know what? Let's just kick it now. And we can't risk it because they have to do a quick play to the sideline. And, it's more of a veteran move. So they made it thankfully for the Vikings, but it's what you said. There are things that Caleb can do, especially maneuvering around the pocket, that are it's so impressive, right? If he doesn't take a sack, it's pretty impressive. But the missed throws that he does have when guys are open, that's where I think some of the concern comes in, because previously, and I'm saying this as a Packers fan, I'm giving Caleb Williams a lot of leeway because he plays for the Chicago Bears. And I mean that, like, even these articles that are coming out, and you could look at it, and I know people have already made up their mind of, there's people who hated Caleb Williams before he came into the league, whether it's because he painted his nails, whether because he was the first overall pick, because he was so hyped, whatever. I do not care. But the point is that you could blame a lot of the old regime for why Caleb had the year that he did last year, right? You look at Eberflus, not a great head coach. You look at that front office and you're like, okay, look at the team that was constructed around him. And you're like, all right, you could give some leeway. Now heading into this year, considering the Bears did everything that you could possibly want as a Bears fan, you got the hottest head coach free agent in Ben Johnson, right? You bring in a brand new defensive coordinator. You got all of these weapons. You draft a first round tight end, whole 9 yards. So now the spotlight is on Caleb Williams, because now it's like, all right, we have this roster for you. We were supposed to improve your O-line too. Now you have to go out and make those plays. And considering, and you're going up against tough defense with the Vikings, but considering some of those plays were not made by Caleb, that's where, if you're a Bears fan, you have some concern. I feel like that was a rant, but no, I feel like it's nuanced with Caleb, because it is week 1. Like, I don't think the Bears should be panicking, but to blow that lead is tough. And that's not just on Caleb, but that's tough.
I think, like, when you're sailing passes,
virtually streaming,
the way Caleb is, that's usually like it's going to be like a mechanics thing, like your footwork. I think for Caleb, it's footwork. It's not setting and throwing. And if you want an optimistic look, go back and watch like Josh Allen's rookie season, where he did some incredible things, but like his accuracy was all over the place. And that was a little bit of a concern coming out of Wyoming for Josh Allen. It can be dialed in for Caleb. And I also think it's just getting more comfortable. I think once we get to a point where Caleb's comfortable in that offense, he's got the skill set to do it.
Sure.
The question for me more is like, will he ever be comfortable in that offense? And I'm not saying that just based off, week 1. It's going to take a while to learn Ben Johnson's freaking offense. It just is. And I think I saw somewhere like Caleb was asked to do a lot more week 1 than JJ McCarthy.
And the Manningcast, I think they talked about this, of like what it's like being a quarterback in Ben Johnson's scheme. Like, it is and again, to go from Eberflus, when it's like, hey, like I'm watching tape by myself, or like not having to watch tape, to this.
Or based on the new reports, it's Caleb refused to watch film with those guys and told all those coaches to piss off. Whatever. I don't know where the truth is. It's probably somewhere in the middle. But when you look at the fourth quarter, the guy who showed up was JJ. Like, it was three bad quarters, and then all of a sudden this dude looks like unshakable. And to me, if I'm a Vikings fan, I'm feeling pretty optimistic, because, dude, during that game, I have conversations in my head with myself.
Yeah,
we all do, right?
Yeah.
I was watching that game, and I was thinking in my brain like a child. I was like, if I'm Kevin O'Connell right now, I go over to my sideline, I get the offense together, and I say, you know what, guys, we're not going to win this game. We know we're not going to win this game. What we need to do now is just put together a good drive. Just one good drive, because we're not going to win. So let's just take the pressure of winning out of our heads, and let's just go play. I was thinking, like, this game's over. Like, the Vikings aren't going to win. That's how fucking bad they looked on offense for 3 quarters. It's a lame conversation to have with myself and my brain, but I did. And then they pulled it out. Like, he throws a touchdown to Justin Jefferson. He throws a really nice pass to Aaron Jones, and then he rushes for one. And all of a sudden, the guy who was getting just roasted on social media, he's the Vikings savior.
Vikings calling Kirk Cousins. Carson Wentz is over KOC's shoulder. He's like, it's time.
But it's both defenses that's the other thing that kind of got lost here. You got to feel pretty good about either defense moving forward as well.
Yeah.
I think Dennis Allen, kind of under the radar fit there for Chicago. Obviously, they couldn't get a stop when they needed to. So Caleb misses to DJ Moore. He has a guy open in the coming out of the flat, just sails that over the sideline. And then even the pass that got Chicago back in the game, that deep shot to Cole Kmet wasn't a good throw. Cole Kmet makes an insane juggling effort just to haul that in. So I think outside of like understanding the offense and getting settled there, it's like once that happens, I think those throws from Caleb get dialed in more. But they were so off target. They were so bad. You're like, what's happening to Caleb in front of our eyes?
Yeah. No rules. So real quick, because we were talking about that Tyler Dunn report because he like released like that 3-part article talking about Caleb Williams and last year and all the dysfunction and stuff.
If you read something like that, Tom, are you just laughing the whole time?
So I am, I mean, it's a dumpster fire, right? And again, the fact that they lost on Monday, but I also, again, when I went to Chicago during 30 and 30, the amount of people are like, I have seen like every single, sports team in this city win a championship except the Bears. And like, it's just this,
it's been so long.
Is it ever going to end? Is it literally just like a cursed franchise at this point? And to this point, no rules. I can't verify any legitimacy in terms about laughing at Drake May's footage. But what I do have is when I went to the combine. So this was the year that Caleb got drafted. Everybody that I spoke to was like, oh, this has been a done deal. Do you remember for like a hot second, there was like, maybe they don't draft Caleb Williams, the Bears, maybe they go somewhere else. Everything that I heard was that this had been done a long time ago, that Caleb was the guy and he's been talking to the Bears and there was going to be no doubt that he was going to be taken.
He looks like,
it's true, Ashley. That's true, but they won.
He looks like shitty Mahomes. If I could put it one way, watching him, I'm like, he looks like Mahomes, but sucks.
And
that's as nice as I can say it. Yes.
Week 1 for the Bears, for them to have the game that they did, the hype that they had going into this game, and then by the end, they're getting, because even those last couple of plays were awful.
Yeah.
Like they were terrible. And it was smart for them to run out the kick for the Vikings, right? So that they can, they don't get the 2-minute warning. But even that, it's just like, man, you got to kick that thing as far as you can out of the end zone. Like
Cairo Santos doesn't have the leg to do it.
It's not.
That sucks.
So I think to get booed at the end of that game, I think it does not inspire any confidence with the Bears fandom. And on the other side of that, for the Vikings, even though JJ McCarthy looked like poo-poo for 3/4 of the game, it's like you said, there has to be at least a good amount of confidence that in your first NFL game, you are able to lead your team to come back and score 3 straight touchdowns, regardless of what his season's going to look like. That's a pretty good one for your first NFL win. So